Chippewa County Board of Commissioners. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Martin, Commissioner Martin, rather, would you please start us with the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Egan.
Present.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Chairman Shackleton.
Here. So we're all here. We move to public comment. If there's anybody in the public who would like to address the commission, this is your opportunity. So please come up to the table with the microphone and the little red light so that we can hear you and everybody else can if anybody wants to speak. I'll give you another chance for public comment. Anybody? Last chance. Public comment. Seeing nobody would like to speak today, we will close the public comment portion of our agenda and move on to number 5, which is old business. This always appears on our agenda. However, we don't have any items today under old business. So if everybody's fine with that, we'll move to new business. Starting with the 2015 Boards Committee Appointments Modifications, page 1. You'll recall that at the first meeting of the year, it's the organizational meeting, and we made these appointments to these boards and commissions. There was some requests and agreements to move around a couple, so I think we've done the best we can to accommodate everybody. However, to make it official, this does have to be sort of a appointments made and be done during a meeting so that as we go forward, everybody knows who's on what base, so to speak. So I would make these committee appointments as brought forth in your agenda, pages 1 and 2. And again, I think we've accommodated everybody as best we can. It does not require any action other than the chair making the appointment and it being done at a regular board meeting, which we just did. So we move then to bylaws and rules of procedure. There's a couple of changes we wanted to make there, and again, bylaws and rules of procedure can be amended anytime during the year, during the term, but there were a couple of things that have been kind of on the back burner that we wanted to take care of. One, and the first one on the agenda, is the public comment change. Article 7, we wanted to make clear that anybody who wants to address the public or address the board, anybody from the public can, just as we called for public comment earlier. Public comment is always welcome and always offered, but we wanted to make clear that that was the public's opportunity to address the commission. So we had a change that was suggested, and it is to strike section 7.3 and to change it to say any person who has been requested, oh wait a minute, which is it, Jim? Any person requested by the chair being undue to comment on
any person who's on the agenda or who has been requested by the chair to comment
on a matter before the board. Okay, thank you. And again, this just clarifies for us.
That's the current, Mr. Chair. Right above that is the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's change as follows per the county's attorney, Greg Grant. We asked him to help us clarify this so that it was done the way that they suggested. And again, all this does is says that any member of the public who wishes to speak can do so under public comments, but not necessarily demand to be an agenda item. So with that, I guess, as always, the chair cannot make motions or second motions. So if anybody here would be interested in making the motion, and then we can also discuss it and hopefully move to a vote.
would so move.
Motion made and supported that the section be changed as presented, and now we can move into discussion. Does anybody have anything you'd like to talk about on this? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to conducting the meetings. We found that in incorporating Commissioner McLean's amendment to the policies and procedures, specifically to the agenda section, that there actually was not a provision for changes or additions or deletions to the agenda. This has been the past practice of the commission for as long as I've been here, to allow additions and deletions. I would add that should also be and acceptance. So it should be additions, deletions, and acceptance of the agenda. This will merely put it into the bylaws so that we can continue with past practice. And again, somebody else will have to make that motion.
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported that we amend the bylaws and rules of procedure to allow for additions, deletions, and acceptance to the agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Where would that fit in the, we have this on page 8 of our packet.
Yep, it's just gonna add two. What did you suggest, Callie? Add it where?
Right under number 4, underneath the roll call of members.
It will become number 4.
Become number 4 then.
Okay. So you go 1, 2, 3, this will be 4. Oh, this will be 4, okay. Oh, yeah, this will be 4, and then approval of minutes will be number 5, and so forth, renumbered on. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to goal setting. I'm sorry?
I had one thing I wanted to add also.
Okay.
Okay, this is, okay, under part B was the,
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah,
3
sorry.
consecutive meetings. The issue has come up at a couple of committees that I belong to that some members don't take attendance as seriously as they should. And some consistently miss meetings. And it doesn't happen often, but what we're looking for, what I would like to add to our bylaws is that if a member of a committee misses 3 consecutive meetings without being excused, okay? Now, I guess if a person's going to miss a meeting and they call the committee chair, or call somebody on the committee and say, you know, I just can't make it tonight for this particular reason. But what this would address is somebody who just doesn't show up consistently and doesn't offer any excuses or anything like that. And that would allow a mechanism for that person to be removed from the committee, and then the commission would, or the chair would appoint somebody to take their place. We've had that come up in a situation, and the group thought that 3 meetings without any indication from the person as to why they're missing would be, sufficient to remove that person from the committee.
Is it, I'm sorry, is it your intent that this is directed really at county board members, or
That, I don't think it can be as at county board members per se. It's because county board members are elected, and that's a little bit different situation. This is where we appoint somebody to a board or committee or whatever, and they're serving supposedly the public interest, taking care of business, whatever the committee deals with, and they're not showing up and taking part in the meetings. And sometimes this happens, and it would affect a quorum. People arrive, and there's not enough people to conduct business.
I guess what I meant was if it's a board, and nothing's coming to mind at the moment, but any board, let's say the health department board,
Yeah.
and we appoint members of the public to that board, and we have county commission members.
Yeah.
Is it your thought that it would apply to both equally, or just county commission members, or
I think it should apply to all people.
anyone who was
'Cause
appointed?
I've seen
by
that
the county?
happen with, when we had an appointment of a commissioner to one of the boards, and they consistently missed.
Mhm.
And, that group went ahead and just did it themselves. But they're looking, I think what the issue is that these committees, the members are appointed by us, and they don't feel comfortable just removing somebody without some kind of authority from this group.
Commissioner
So
Egan?
this is just to formalize a way of making sure that people are showing up to the meetings that they're supposed to. And instead of saying excuses, why aren't we stating that, that they should give due, notice that they're not gonna be there? Which is better than an excuse, cause excuses get blurry, whereas if you let people know ahead of time, then if there's not gonna be a quorum, it can be canceled and people's time aren't wasted, money isn't wasted. It seems to be a preemptive better than a after the fact.
I'm sorry,
And
Commissioner
I-
Martin?
I would think the exception would have to be on any time that, all five of us are on a commission. Obviously, by our bylaws, no one could really be removed. But I would say in any other circumstance that we put in there that the chair or a vote of a majority of members may choose to remove someone. So we don't have to, but we may remove someone. And I don't know if you all wanna go with a majority of the board, or if you wanna go with the chair. 6 one, half dozen another, but people, if they're appointed to a board, you would think that they would be there, and I know things
Yeah.
happen, Lord knows. If you've got kids or you've got parents to take care of, things happen. And, but common courtesy to the institution, to your other board members, is you call them and know, hey, I'm not gonna be here because this happened or that happened, and we have to accept their reason, so to
Right.
speak, and not turn it into more than it is. But, I would think if people go to the effort of being appointed, that they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
But if things change and they're not, then we need to find someone else who is interested in helping the public.
Right. Well, and Commissioner McLean and I have corresponded on this a little bit, and I think we do have a differing opinion on this particular subject, because I'm uncomfortable with the concept of an excused absence. This isn't, this isn't school, this isn't, I don't know, but just the idea of somebody making a determination whether this is excused or unexcused and at what point. And I'm personally more comfortable with the idea that if someone isn't coming to the committee meetings, then they should come to the chair, whoever the chair is of the county board, and say, we got a problem over on this board, so-and-so is not showing up for meetings. And then the chair, by virtue of presumably either making that appointment or being the head of the body that did make the appointment, can reach out to that person and say, hey, I hear there's a problem, you're not showing up. Would you like to be, like us to move you off that board, or what would you like to do? And then the chair, if needed, could later take action if needed. I'm not sure I agree that it needs to be set down in stone in this manner, but again, it's up for this board to decide, and that's just my opinion on the issue. Commissioner Martin.
What if 2 misses cause that to happen?
You can
miss
cause-
twice, then the chair
Is
contacts
is
the
notified.
person, is notified, and then we can go from there. But
And then maybe a second step is the rest of the commission is notified and then action is taken.
action may be taken.
We
but-
could-
Taken, yes,
I mean, we can do whatever the commission chooses.
And then we
but-
don't have to.
But I do kind of believe in trying to keep things reasonably simple, and I'm a little concerned about how complicated this mechanism could get with all the different boards and all the different members we have on them. So, and it's also something that maybe you want to work through more of the details and do it later. This doesn't have to be done today, it could be done next month or the month after.
I think that's probably what should be done, is we have, I'm getting that there's a consensus that something needs to be put down in writing. So I guess we could assign that to the administrator, and we could work with the administrator and the deputy administrator and come up with some kind of language. And we can all look at it, and then we can bring it back and adopt it at that point.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
If
Administrator German.
we take off on Mr. McLean's suggestion, would the commission consider moving to next month's personnel meeting? And then we can work out the details in committee and then bring it back?
Committee process seems to make sense for this, I guess.
I'd be more than happy to take it up in person.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll refer it to personnel and
Good for you.
see if we can work through something effective. Certainly, the issue is legitimate that you bring forward, Commissioner McLean. We want to make sure that people are taking the appointment seriously and participating. So we'll look at it. Then we'll move now to item C under 6, which is goal setting. Now, my thought today was that I had heard from a few members that you'd like to do some goal setting exercise sometime very early in this term, and that's great. So what I'd like to do is try to pick out a couple dates, see if you have some thoughts about how you want to do it. I'm thinking in February, let's say, the last half of February, pick out a couple of days and get together, maybe at 6 o'clock in the evening, be together for a few hours and do that a couple times and see what we accomplish. And then if you feel like there's more that we need to do, then we'll add on some dates. But we have done some goal setting in the past, and I think the first thing we would do is review what we've done in the past. And if anyone has any thoughts as far as a structure for those meetings or a format, we can talk about that and work through that, or we can just kind of get together and have it kind of a freewheeling process where everybody just throws out ideas and then we try to hone it down to ideas that we want to actually adopt. So it's Commissioner McLean?
I think I've been through the two processes that we've used over the years, and I spoke with Kelly earlier today, and I brought in some stuff, and I said, we could photocopy it and give it to people here, but she had already found some more recent information, so I'm thinking that Kelly and Jim could put together something and email it to us so we can look it over. And then I guess I would encourage people to say, okay, this is what's been done in the past. Then write down some ideas as to what you think would be some new goals going, or if you have objection, and then we could get together. And I'm assuming it would be a workshop.
Yes.
Okay, a workshop, and then we could bring our ideas right there then.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the other
yeah.
thing that would be available would be that if you look over the information and you want to contact Kelly or Jim or whatever, or the other commissioners, and just via email to discuss it
Right.
that way also.
Right. And let me just take the opportunity too, since you mentioned the email. I know we have some new members, and I had emailed Commissioner Martin about this because he had mentioned something about Open Meetings Act. And I want to just kind of make it clear that you can email each other with questions and ideas and exchange information. That's fine. The Open Meetings Act is meant that all decisions by the body be made in public. And that's very important, and we take that seriously. All decisions are open and made in a public meeting. But if you have an idea about something or how to improve something, you can email people and say, hey, what do you think of this idea? That's okay. But Open Meetings Act intent is that you do not circumvent decision making that must always be made in public. So it's okay to email back and forth with ideas and thoughts. Commissioner McLean and I emailed back and forth today on his idea you brought up a few minutes ago. And he explained to me why he thought it was a good idea, and I explained to him what I thought was a good idea. And that's okay, you can do that. Just, now if he sent out, and I'll shut up on this in a second, but if he sent out an email saying, here's my idea, who all is in favor of it, that would be a problem. That would be bad. You
Right.
cannot do that. You can't take a head count. You cannot try to reach a decision behind closed doors. And in 10 years of being here, I've never ever seen that happen either. Everything's always done in public, and will be. So, that being said, we'll get back to the main subject, which is goal setting. And what I would look at is, let's look at the last 2 weeks of February. Let's start by scheduling 2 meetings. Would you prefer to have 2 in 1 week, or would you like to have 1 per week? Starting, I think we could start by saying the 17th and the 19th, which is a Tuesday and a Thursday, or we could do a 17th and the 24th, which is a Tuesday and a Tuesday. Any thoughts?
Tuesdays are horrible.
Tuesdays are horrible.
Any day but
Any day but Tuesday,
Tuesday.
you got it. Do you want to start with, 18th and 19th is a Wednesday, or go 19th and 26th? I'm just picking days out here to try to get the ball rolling.
I think the 19th and the 26th.
The 19th is when you were looking at doing the finance.
Well, then we won't do it then. Or we'll do it immediately after finance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that would fit.
All right,
After
so
finance.
why don't we choose the 19th immediately after finance? That will be a work session for goal setting. And then we should probably set another one for the following week. Tuesday's bad for Commissioner Martin, so that leaves the 25th or 26th, or 27th for that matter. That's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. The 19th is a Thursday. If we went exactly 1 week, that'd be the 26th.
Weren't we talking about going the 23rd for a regular meeting?
Yes.
We could do the same thing, being back.
Oh, we could? Yeah?
That's
Yeah,
no
you wanna do that?
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do it on the 19th and the 23rd. Now, we can't say that it's gonna be immediately after the previous meetings because we haven't set those meetings yet, but we'll do that shortly. But we will meet on the 19th and the 23rd. Again, those are workshops. There won't be any votes taken or any decisions made, but those are still also open to the public. Okay.
Where do
Anything
we
else
have-
on?
Where we have them at, right here?
We usually have them in the jury room upstairs off of the circuit court because it's more conducive to that sort of conversation. It's a big rectangular table that we can all sit at and talk. So if you go upstairs to the courtroom, it's just a jury room off of the courtroom in the old building. So it lends itself well for discussion, and there's room for people who want to just sit in. So that would be my intent.
Sounds good.
Okay, I don't think do we need a motion or anything to set those work sessions, or can we you just schedule them? Okay. Then we move to the February finance and board meetings. Again, I have asked you commissioners to accommodate my attendance to be there by changing the finance meeting to February 19th and the regular board meeting on the 23rd. And I would be very grateful for that. And again, I know this board can function without me, but very early in the year, and if we can do that, I would appreciate it.
I would so move.
Could we discuss this a second?
Well,
Yeah, we should probably discuss the motion, but okay.
I think if we do this, that Commissioner Shackleton should have to bring us back something from wherever he is going.
I'll go one step better than that. I'll buy pizza for the meeting for one of the workshops. Okay.
I think I like the pineapple or coconut.
Well,
Do we get to pick the pizza?
I'll buy you a pineapple pizza. How about that?
In that case, I'll second it.
Okay. So we do have a motion made and support. Now, do we have any further discussion on this item? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion is carried, and again, I thank you for your help with that. Late last week, we got a letter from the road commission, right? That's this one, isn't it? Regarding a grant that was received, and or actually they're applying for, and they're looking for a letter of support from the county. Because of the timeliness of it, it would have to be done now, and so I bring this to your attention.
I would move that we approve a letter of support for Chippewa County Road Commission in their efforts to improve the road Curly Lewis Highway area. The flap grant.
Second, I'll second.
Okay. We have 2 seconds. We really mean it.
Yeah.
And so we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I'll tell you what, I've pulled my camper on that road going to Camp at Tequama, and I'm telling you what, you got this much space and you're off that road. It
Yeah.
is-
There's no shoulder at all.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely necessary.
All in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. And the motion carries. We move now to a standing committee report. This is the Personnel Committee, Commissioner Egan. Commissioner Egan, would you like to take it away?
Chairman Shackleton, can I interrupt for a second?
What'd I do?
That was a resolution.
Oh, that's a resolution.
Oh, I was.
Just
wondering
says
about
letter of
that.
support. It's gotta be a resolution?
The resolution is attached
All right.
in your packet.
All right, well, it says letter of support, so I didn't realize it was a resolution. Who made the motion?
I would move that we also approve the
Approve the
resolution.
resolution and support? Okay, so this is a resolution which will require a roll call vote. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton.
Yes, so that resolution is approved. May I proceed? Okay. Personnel Committee, Commissioner Egan, you got a little extra time there to prepare. You ready?
Yeah. A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services Committee was held on Wednesday, January 14th, 2015 at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman Egan called the meeting to order at 10:45 a.m. with a quorum present. The members present, Connor Egan, Scott Shackleton, Rudy Johnson. Members absent, none. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator, Lieutenant Stanaway, and Sheriff Savoy. There were no other additions. The agenda items, part-time correction officer compensation. Lieutenant Stanaway explained a proposal to move part-time corrections officers to a 3-tier pay system. The first tier would be those employees under 30 hours per week and compensate them at $10 to $12 pay scale. The second tier would be for 4 positions the commission approved for part-timers who work more than 30 hours per week, with single coverage health care, and they would be paid $15 per hour. The third tier would be moving to full-time. This would help with the retention of qualified employees. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve a 3-tier system for the Sheriff's Corrections Officers. The first tier at $10 to $12 per hour and under 30 hours. The second tier for 4 part-timers who are offered single coverage health care to move to $15 per hour and paying 20% of the premium, and the third tier for full-time employees. This would be effective 1/18/15. On a voice motion that carried. I also move this.
Support.
The motion is made and supported. Is there discussion? Commissioner Martin?
Couple issues I have. One is what, these ones that we're proposing go to $15 an hour, what are they making at this point right now per hour?
Sheriff Savine?
$12. I have some, I have some issues with the timing of this. We just did a budget, we just did a contract, I know they're non-union. And my question is, why wasn't that taken care of then?
Would you like to address that, Sheriff? You can just stand up if you like.
Actually, it didn't come forward. I think you're misunderstood or you don't know the history. This is really the tail end of a 3 or 4 year project. To maintain minimal staffing in the jail, we're actually 4 positions short, okay, to have like the minimal staffing. It's 1 on each shift. And for the last 4 years, I've asked in my budget to have these 4 people move to full-time. And we always thought that next year we would look at it. Well, financially, that's never been able to take place, and I don't blame the commission for that. There's no money, there's no money. Well, when the said they would approve these four-time people, these four people only. We have about 12 that work part-time in the jail, but these four could exceed the 29-hour week, which January 1st, they would be eligible for single coverage health coverage. And when that passed last June or July, it was never conveyed to us that they would have to pay 20%. I don't know if that was oversight on the commission or on us, but it was never, we never understood that. So if you look in my 215 budget, I have to do a goals and objective every year. My main priority thing for 215 was to increase the pay for part-time people, because we can't keep them at $12 an hour. We invest $5,000 or $6,000 into their training, and the first job that comes by, they're jumping ship for something else. I can't blame them, they have families. So that was my goal. That got cut in December, okay, and they never went to full-time. And so the timing of this, we just found out first week of January when they went to get the health care that they have to pay 20% at $12 an hour with the family. That's really impossible. So to compensate for that, I come to the board or to personnel and ask to increase these four people to $15 an hour in hopes of keeping them. Having this three-tier system, there's some incentive to stay here. And we've had some, I think the lieutenant said we hired 18 people in the last year and a half that have left. So it's a revolving door. We want to keep good people, we want to make a living. And they don't, and when you say contract negotiations, they're not union, they don't have a contract, they don't have a mechanism to come to the board. They don't have anything unless the department head brings it to the board, they're unrepresented. So I think in fairness, this has been a long, dragged out battle. I'm just not bringing it up now, it's at the very tail end. And we're not even at this point asking for an adjustment in my budget, and I'll tell you why. Last year, how many officers I have off hurt or injured on the job? 3 or 4. They're on long-term, short-term. Their wages, aren't going out. Either workman's comp is paying for it. I just had one off 3 months on family medical leave. We save them wages, so I think throughout the years, this little $3 an hour, somehow, hopefully, I can make it up some other area.
Okay.
Retirement.
Commissioner Martin, you're still.
So it's, I'm not bringing it forward. We're at the tail end. After a 3 or 4 year struggle here, I'm just trying to do something for these people because they have no voice. And they have no way of bringing it to you. I want to keep them, they're good employees. I don't think 4 people, I really have total staff between, probably have 20, 25 part-time people. We're only asking for the 4 that can exceed the 29 hours. I hope, I hope I explained it right, but
So the ACA kind of put us behind the 8 ball. This has been coming, this was rejected by the last board,
it was taken out in the
It was
December.
taken out by the last board.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
see, that's what I needed to know to move forward.
It's not a surprise on the new commissioners, it's just been a long process. And you know what, if I would have been happy at the $12 an hour, but now they have to pay 20% of their medical, that just wasn't conveyed to us, so we didn't understand it that way. So I'm trying to find a little bit of money to offset the 20%. Either, and we could do it, say, waive the 20%, but it's probably easier to give them a few dollars an hour.
Yeah.
What kind of metric do we have to make sure that this retention is actually working, other than the 4 people who are getting health care and the raise? Is there any way to tell if it's keeping the others engaged in hopes of getting that third
Well,
tier or
I
second
would
tier?
hope building this three-tier system at least as an incentive. If you're looking at, I've been here 3 years part-time, someone retiring, someone from that 4 slot is going to move into full-time, maybe I can get into that 4 group. You know, at least it's something to look forward to. And I don't think it's an unreasonable request. I mean, this day and age, you know, I have people with families who make $15 an hour, especially the ones at $12 an hour and have families, and they can only work 29 hours. You know, they're trying to juggle between accommodating our needs and working 1 or 2 other jobs. So it's not an unreasonable request, and it's been a long, drawn-out issue. It's been going on for 3 or 4 years now. So we're at the tail
Yes.
end.
I understand.
Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
So this is not a surprise then to Commissioner
Well,
Shackleton and Commissioner
I don't
McLean.
remember specifically discussing this increase that's being asked for. What we did do was, the sheriff asked for, to allow 4 employees to move into a category where they could work over 29 hours a week, and that the county would offer them health insurance. Regarding an increase in salary for them and for the others, maybe it was in there and it was
in
taken
my
out.
215.
Okay, I don't remember us specifically addressing
And
that
you remember-
particular item.
You remember you moved 911 people over here last April, or
Yep,
May, they
yep.
had an issue with retaining people.
Yes.
Well, I was exempt from that move, so I asked for it in my 215 budget.
Okay.
And it was taken out, but
Okay, I don't remember that, but
somewhere in the
still, if
process.
the sheriff says it's so, it's so. So,
Okay, I guess I look at, now that I know this, one, we pay our subs about $10 an hour, we start our custodians at $12 an hour. I don't care what the state of Michigan says, what the federal government says, if you follow the CPI, minimum wage is $11 an hour. And to take men and women who put their lives on the line and pay them less than minimum wage, I think is not right.
I agree.
I would move that we.
we have a motion on the floor.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I don't mean as in
Oh,
making a
okay.
motion right now, I'm just saying, I would ask then that we move that wage from 11 to 13 instead of 10 to 12 for those people. For the 4, really, they've already gotten at least a $3,000 bump with the insurance, and now in bump them 12 to 15, I think that might be a little much. Maybe bump them to $14 an hour with the 20%. So we have a 11, 12, 13, and 14 plus insurance, and then they move to full-time. And I know it's only $20,000 or $30,000, but I also know there are constituents in my district that are trying to make they're trying to keep a roof over their head on $20,000 or $30,000. So I don't, and I know it's only 20 or 30,000 with a $12 million budget, but you know, we have to be fiscally responsible here, but at the same time we have to be fair. And these folks are in harm's way, and they deserve better than 10 to 12. They deserve at least 11 to 13 more if we can afford it, but I don't know that we can. But maybe as a balance on that, we get $14 an hour plus insurance, and then they're moving up so we can retain these guys. But I will ask that in September, I want something from you all that says, hey, last year we lost 11 part-timers, and this year we only lost 6 part-timers. We saved in retraining this much money. That's what I would ask, is that you give us, what he said, a trigger that says, hey, this is working, because we're giving these raises. In essence, we're investing money in our employees to save money in our budget for the long term, because that's what we're judged on. We're judged on the budget. And the fact that you didn't ask for a bump in your budget says that you're very confident that this can be carried out within our budget, plus savings and gas prices are down. If we can take care of people who are willing to be in harm's way and stay within our budget, then by gosh, we need to do that.
Yeah, well, just in response,
Go ahead.
I would welcome what I asked for my 215 budget was to increase salaries or wages for all the part-timers. But I don't know if I can do that and stay within my budget either, because I have 20 to 25 part-time people, and we have singled out this group before, and I'm hoping I can absorb that. I don't know if I can without a budget adjustment for everyone, but I do welcome any increase for part-time.
Sure. Commissioner McLean.
I think you know, to avoid any further, I think confusion, I think we should go with the motion that we have here. And I guess I would echo what has been offered on the other side here. I think that, I don't know if we presently conduct exit interviews, you know, when people leave. That's generally a process. We should be asking where they're going to, you know, and that would be information that we could use. If they're moving to, you know, to work at the International Bridge, we're gonna have a tough time competing with them anytime. If they're moving to the prison, you know, so I guess we need to know where they're going so that we can understand what's going on from here on out. And, but I think we should stick to the motion that we have here and just move it along. I know we've discussed this long and hard, and trying to take into consideration, you know, the move, the Affordable Care Act, you know, what that caused for people who had been working 39 hours, they could only work 29 hours a week now, and that's a sizable chunk. And I think this is a step in the right direction. If it needs more fine tuning, we could do it in next year's budget. And like you say, keep track of what's happening if we're accomplishing anything. So.
And that problem is, of part-timers being cut to 29 hours or less is happening all over America through every industry, and it's very frustrating. I can tell you specifically of employers and employees in Chippewa County, all through our city and county, who are facing this problem. And people who used to be able to work one part-time job for about 35 hours a week are now trying to balance two part-time jobs because they can only work 25 hours a week or so at either one of them. So it's very frustrating, but that's partly what precipitated our problem. The only other thing I want to mention, Commissioner Martin, is that our budget that we approved had very, very little room for any additional expenditures. And as Chair of Finance, I'm going to be looking towards you in the fall to be bringing forward a budget that will be the responsibility of everybody to work on and to approve and to work with you on. But I would like to see the Finance Chair take a very active role in bringing a budget forward in the months to come. You plan on that, right? I can tell.
I've already gone through it.
Good. All right. With that, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. So that takes care of that particular item from the Personnel Committee. And if you want to conclude your report, Commissioner Egan.
Committee comments, there were none, was then moved to adjourn by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Shackleton. And Chairperson, we can declare the meeting adjourned at 11:09 a.m.
And you would offer a
move
motion
to
to accept the minutes, yeah. And we need support. Okay, thank you. So there's a motion to approve and accept the Personnel Committee meeting minutes of January 14th, 2015. Is there discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Okay, we move to kind of a new item. Did we do we did the additions, deletions, acceptance, okay. The commissioner report on meetings as board representative and general comments. Now, this used to just be commissioner comments, and Commissioner McLean offered a motion to change it to this line that basically is giving commissioners an opportunity that if you were at another meeting, whatever meeting it may be, and you feel that there's something that you want to tell the other board about, that, hey, this happened and I think you should know about it, then this is an opportunity to do that. Either that, or if you have general comments about anything that you think is important that you bring to the board right now that's not an agenda item, this is your opportunity. So, Commissioner report on meetings as board representative and general comments, number 8. Anyone? Commissioner McLean.
Well, since I insisted we put that in there, I should give some kind of a report. The one that I want to report on is the Michigan Works issue. We've had a Michigan Works office, been called a number of things over the years, but it's very active in job training and this type of thing for people who are unemployed and underemployed. The state has put an effort on to consolidate all the Michigan Works offices in the entire UP. There's a central in Marquette. They absorbed the western end a couple years ago, and it was not a pretty process. And the state is now putting the pressure on for them to consolidate. And we're struggling at the eastern end. The Eastern UP Michigan Works office serves Chippewa, Mackinac, and Luce counties. We have offices in each jurisdiction. And we want to keep as much control as we can. And we've been back and forth with video conferencing. They've been meeting for months on this. We're coming to a point where I think we're going to be able to develop a memorandum of understanding, but it's been a real struggle. The Central, which is in charge of the rest of the UP, has told us what they need in the memorandum of understanding, but they've been a little reluctant to listen to what we need in the memorandum of understanding. And there was a meeting scheduled for today, but I canceled it because it just got to be too crazy. It was a meeting aside from that. I think there were a county commissioner, actually the chairman of Marquette County was coming down to meet with me. And I thought, fine. But then they added the person from the Michigan Works office there. And so I thought, well, I better add the person from our Michigan Works office. It was a real process, but that is a real important issue that we have going now. And we're meeting on that, I believe. Let me check my schedule. Okay, on the February 5th. And that's, we're gonna probably do a video conferencing meeting, but it's something called, they have to change the name, it's called a talent council now, which is, but it's come from Lansing.
Yeah, well, it must be right then.
Being a good Republican, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but that, I wanted to comment on that. Also want to mention that I really appreciate the accommodations made in the committee structure, the adjustments that were made in that. I think that the intent was to better serve the commission and the people and that type of thing. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else under comments and reports and that sort?
February 4th, 5 o'clock, Michigan Works, right?
Yeah.
We move then to number 9, if anybody'd care to offer that.
I'll move for adjournment. Wait,
Motion
I'll
to
support.
adjourn and supported. Any discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. This meeting is adjourned.
I don't care.